Welcome to the Niche Pursuits podcast. Today we are joined by Andrew Fiebert, and he has a great background that really lends itself to a great interview. Andrew started with the Listen Money Matters website and podcast, super popular podcast. I know I listened to it many years in a row. Andrew talks about his journey into affiliate marketing almost by accident through the podcast and website that was Listen Money Matters. He transitioned that project into several affiliate projects that he now runs. These are websites that are earning some pretty serious money. He goes on to share one website in particular that we use as the highlight, and he talks about how much that website now generates for him. We dive into a lot of the details of what he's learned from Listen Money Matters and now in his new websites. And I think a central theme that comes out of this interview with Andrew is how focused he is on optimization. So we spend a lot of time on podcast episodes and interviews talking about how to grow a website, how to pick keywords, and how to build backlinks, and some of these more pillar-like things. And we do touch on that with Andrew, but what I really picked up is how clearly focused he is on optimizing the content that's already on your site for better conversions and better sales. He actually walks through how you can do this just with Google Analytics and Google Data Studio. He gives a lot of tips for how to write the content that is going to actually bring higher conversions, how to find keywords where higher conversions live, and a whole host of other optimization tips. So if you already have some traffic to your website, you're going to love hearing about his optimization approach and his focus. He's now putting most of his time towards Lasso, which is a product that kind of does just that. It's a lot of optimization efforts for affiliate marketers in terms of better tracking, better display, better clickability, and these sorts of things. He shares about the upsides of his product and what it's doing now. So you can follow along with what Andrew is doing at Get Lasso and enjoy this interview because I think you're going to get a lot out of it. Today's show is sponsored by Ahrefs, an all-in-one SEO toolset. Do you wish you could get more traffic to your website from Google? Well, half the battle is understanding what you need to fix on your site first. One route is to hire a costly consultant, but we've all been there, we've all done that, and there is another way. What if you could get a professional website audit for free without having to deal with the salespeople or the consultants? And that's the power of Ahrefs Webmaster Tools. It's a free resource that's going to help you prioritize the optimization opportunities on your website, which in the long run means more Google traffic. You'll see which keywords your pages are currently ranking for. It helps you understand how Google currently sees your content, and probably most importantly, helps you discover what changes you can make and how those changes will help you blow up your traffic. Imagine what this could do for your business in the long run. So I use Ahrefs every single day at my marketing agency. It's a fantastic tool, really love it. You can learn more by visiting ahrefs.com/webmaster-tools. And again, it's a free tool, and we've included that link in the show notes for you. Again, go ahead and visit ahrefs.com/webmaster-tools. Thanks again to Ahrefs for sponsoring today's episode. Have you been frustrated with your Google traffic lately? Are you tired of tools that make you search through millions of keywords and require a math degree to figure out? There's an SEO tool called Rank IQ that can help. They're ranked #1 on G2 for both ease of use and customer satisfaction. Rank IQ gives you a list of the lowest competition, high traffic keywords in your niche, and they are all clear winners. When you choose one of their hand-picked keywords, their AI takes over and gives you a simple report telling you what Google wants you to cover in your blog post. Whether you have a new site or have been around for a while, Rank IQ will take your Google traffic to a whole new level. Go to rankiq.com/niche pursuits to lock yourself in at 50% off their monthly rate. I'll put this special link in the episode's description. Welcome back to the Niche Pursuits podcast. Today, we are joined by Andrew Fiebert. Andrew, welcome on board.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
I am really glad to do this interview and also very excited. I feel like normally in agendas, as we prepare for these sorts of interviews, we kind of focus on one thing or maybe two things, but you have quite a background. I mean, I feel like we could do several podcast episodes and all the different things you've had your hands in over the years. So kick us off and give us a little backstory. Walk us through some of the things that you've been involved in, and then we'll dive into the details.
Yeah. So once upon a time, I was a data engineer for iHeartRadio, investment banks, and yearned to kind of like set my own destiny. I created a website called Listen Money Matters. And it was just a website. And through creating the site, I met a good friend of mine, Matt Giovanisi, and we used to Skype because Zoom didn't exist then. And we would just like talk about money things and kind of just like yell at each other and argue. And my wife was like, you guys should record that. And we obviously said that was a stupid idea.
Obviously.
And recorded it. And then we just became super rich and it was very successful. No, it was hard. We built it. It was a lot of fun. We did that for a long time, kind of got into affiliate sites and doing keyword research, built some other sites in opportunities that we saw. And then like where we are today is I was just going to do affiliate sites forever. But my friends wanted the automations that we had built for Listen Money Matters and Gift Lab and some of our other sites. And so I shared it with Matt. I shared it with my friend Thomas Frank. And eventually we just packaged it and sold it as Lasso. And so that's my newest baby.
I feel like a bit like walking down memory lane when you start talking about Listen Money Matters. I definitely listened to that podcast quite a bit. And so it's super cool to now be, here interviewing you. What years were you guys prominently doing the website and the podcast for Listen Money Matters? What kind of just time frame for people to get their mind around it?
So we started December 2012. We really hit our stride mid 2013, and we did it for like close to 8 years.
Yeah.
We have hundreds of episodes and multiple hosts. Matt was started with me, then left, then came back. It was just a lot of fun because we didn't know how to do any of this online business stuff. So we're literally like learning it as we're recording. And in the beginning, we didn't even like try hard. We're just bullshitting. And it just kind of, I guess we were real. So it worked.
Yeah. I think you guys definitely had that characteristic for sure. Because you kind of talked about how Listen Money Matters almost turned you on to affiliate marketing and affiliate websites. What was it about that experience that kind of got you guys interested in, or got, kind of made the website and the platform good for that?
So we started with the website, didn't really get traction, did the podcast, and it just kind of like blew up. And it was just podcast, but we didn't know how to monetize it. And there weren't a lot of podcasts back then. So it was hard. And we would just create show notes for every episode that we created, just because, I don't know, we thought that we should do this. Someone told us or something. And then like these really lean, like 200-word show notes started ranking for meaningful, meaty things. And our really poorly monetized show notes were making more money than the podcast. And it wasn't like an immediate aha. We had to be like beaten over the head by it. And then we like kind of pivoted to building the site, learned Ahrefs. That was an early tool back then. I'm a data guy, so love that. And then as we're like researching these posts, we're like seeing all of these, what we felt were obvious opportunities, and like no one attempting to rank for it. Like Amazon would be the number one result for a term. And we found that we could create something pretty bad and just like rank right above Amazon. And it was love at, I don't know, 10th site with affiliate marketing.
That was definitely, more in the early days of podcasting. And so I think you're exactly right. Like it was definitely kind of figured out as you go type of territory. I just am fascinated that you guys were able to take something that was more successful, maybe at the early stages from the podcast side of things, and then turn it into success from the website side of things. That's it's interesting and really cool. Where's that project at now? Where did you guys kind of sunset it, or what's the status of Listen Money Matters at this point?
We're on pause. It's been a multi-year pause. some weeks I wake up and I'm like, this is the week. Like we're gonna go back. We get emails about it. People ask. I've been like so into Lasso that removing that recording day has been a bit of a relief. But I'd be lying if I said my heart wasn't there. It was like the first audience we built, and we would have meetups, so it's on pause. It makes us money. The site's there. It doesn't do what it did when we were actively building it, but it certainly pays the mortgage.
Well, I'll tell you, you said it's to start around 2012. Just full disclosure, we're doing this recording in 2022. So I think this is the perfect year to get the band back together and do a reunion tour.
do you want to co-host with me?
Oh no, you talked about how that recording day, it takes up a lot of time. I feel you there. So I got enough here. I definitely feel you, but recording takes more time than you think. So I understand.
It does.
Yeah. Okay, good. So that's on pause. Let's talk about some of these content sites. I mean, you teased giftlab.com, and I had a chance to look at that site before we started recording. I could ask you so many questions about that. What was the process in transitioning from just Listen Money Matters to these other affiliate websites? Because that one, at the very least, it's a pretty big site now at this point. I mean, if you look around at it, it's a really well built out site. So it's not like you were just doing a bunch of small things. These are some bigger projects.
So we say it's the biggest gifting affiliate site on the internet. We've looked at the competitors, and if you don't count like Good Housekeeping, we're the biggest like dedicated to this. The thing is with personal finance is it's just so competitive, where like you create something awesome, hours you put into it, and then in a few months you have to update it and you have to keep updating, and it's just like a relentless. And so as you like grow the size of your content base, the maintenance work just becomes enormous, which was well and good because it's monetized well. Banks pay $100+ for someone who doesn't have to pay $1. But then when Eat came out and you needed like experts and all like someone that I hired off the streets couldn't just write a thing and rank because of the domain, then it became really difficult. And the thing is, like, we were writing things like just really long tail, weren't directly like Betterment or Fundrise wasn't the immediate solution. It's like, okay, I want to learn about investing, like investing for beginners. So all the way down in the funnel. And we're looking at lists that we were adding on the site because it was monetized well. And we stumbled into the gifting niche, and we just thought the intent was so high because like, we were looking for gifts for like mom, grandma. It takes my wife and I weeks to settle on 2 mom gifts, And so there was nothing created there. So we just did it. But we didn't want to put too much time in. So we created these like dinky lists that wound up being exactly what people wanted and shamefully easy to create. And so it just kind of started working. We did other sites that didn't just work. We're not just like a success story. We have more failures. And it took off, and we just kind of, yeah.
Yeah, the difference in what you have to put out to rank for, say, a gifting site than for personal finance. I mean, the stories about personal finance are the competition. Did you guys, like, what was your approach to growing Gift Lab? Maybe from a keyword research standpoint, from a topical research standpoint, because you guys had a bunch of knowledge at that point in the bank, and it seems like such a different type of niche. How did you guys go about going from stumbling upon a couple keywords to building out a whole site?
Yeah. So learning with Listen, at one point, Listen Money Matters ranked #1 for passive income. And we were like so proud that we ranked for this massive keyword, huge difficulty, took a lot of time. And rather quickly, we realized that the quality of the traffic was really, really low. People weren't doing any of the things that we suggested. We iterated through from investing products to like surveys, and it kind of was like the lowest of the low in terms of audience quality. And in that learning, we kind of went long tail. And when we looked at the gifting niche, if you look at like, I don't know, and this is even back, 5-6 years ago, Christmas gifts or Christmas gifts for dads, a lot of intent there, high volume. And we rank for some of these things. But if you look for Christmas gifts for dolphin lovers, you have also enormous volume, but literally no competition. And what we found over building Gift Lab is that the intent is actually higher there because it's more specific to the person. So the conversion rate's higher. So like, not birthday gifts, quinceanera gifts. And so it's a specific birthday. Then you could create things on the list that really speak to things that of an age, based on the event. And then it's just kind of like that at scale. And so when you look at like Christmas gifts for dolphin lovers, who is thinking of that?
Is that a real article?
That one is not.
Okay.
Kids in
You kept saying it. So I was like, maybe it really is an article. Is that a thing?
It may be on one of our lists, but like we go into these inane niches.
Right. Was that found through keyword research or through just kind of intuition? Because I've interviewed a couple of people recently where a lot of the types of articles that they write are boiled down to the fact that they really understand their target market and they understand what the website is about. And so they might use an Ahrefs or a SEMrush or a tool to maybe aid in some of the high level research, but then they just really start churning out longer tail content that is basically they understand because of their target audience, this is something that they're going to want.
So with Listen Money Matters, we did that. We had like an opinion and things we wanted to cover. Same idea with Lasso. We've created affiliate sites. We want to talk about specific topics that we feel are important. And so we'll like come up with an idea and we'll use Ahrefs to like shoehorn it into what people are looking for. With Gift Lab, we had this like kind of arrogant thought where we're like, we have good taste. So we're just going to create lists because we know better than someone else what people might want to buy, ridiculous.
Of course.
We're just going to go and create it. And, we look at other articles that people have created, or we look on Amazon, on Uncommon Goods, we get ideas, but I think what's really so we have like a 2-part process. So I don't want to like make it like we just kind of like put these lists together and they rank and then like we ride off on a unicorn into the sunset. I'm a data guy, so we use Ahrefs obviously for research, and then we connected Google Analytics with Google Data Studio, and we treated a click as a vote on one of our lists. And so we look at every item on the list, and based on the number of clicks, we treat that as like its popularity. And so every few months we'll optimize. And so we'll export what's in Google Data Studio. And then someone on the team will reorder items. And if it's below a threshold on a click rate, we'll remove those and test new ones. So like we usually land decently, but then like over the years, we've refined where the intent is high and the performance is so high, it's just difficult to compete with.
That is fascinating. So you, like generally speaking, could you just walk through how you're able to learn what people click through a Google Data Studio, a Google Analytics kind of integration?
Absolutely. So we use Google Tag Manager, so nothing crazy. And you can Google, how to use Google Tag Manager, specifically every external click being an event in Google Analytics. And so all of the external links are affiliate links, 100% on Gift Lab. I mean, 95%. And so it's good enough for us. And truth be told, Amazon Uncommon Goods, their click rate beats out any of the others anyways. And so once they're all events, you can create a Google Studio dashboard. I believe Matt Giovanisi from Money Lab has an article on at least teeing up like level 1 of this. Then what happens is because you have all the clicks and all of the impressions on this list, you can just start to drill into specific URLs and see all the external links clicked, sort it. And then we do like a distribution. And so say there was 1,000 clicks on this article, 2 external links over some time span. The number 1, has 200 out of 1,000 clicks. Number 2 has 50. And so it goes down to, where the best one moves to the top. Maybe it was the 5th on the list originally. And the ones that are like in we use like a color coded thing in Google Sheets, the ones that are red essentially based on like an auto distribution, we just remove and we
Yep.
try new ones.
Yep. Yeah. So, like if an article gets fewer overall outbound clicks, then the threshold might be a little different than an article that gets a lot of outbound clicks. That makes a lot of sense. Do you find, I'm just curious, this is totally off topic, but on the same vein of what you were talking about, I feel like a lot of the times my most trafficked affiliate articles don't end up selling those products that are recommended on Amazon with any higher frequency. So you go into Amazon, right? And you kind of look at the products you sold over the last 30 days. And then you go over to your website, Google Analytics, and you look at the URLs that had the most traffic and the products they recommended. They don't always sync up. Is that, I'm wondering with you, with how much optimization you're doing, are you seeing a lot more correlation with the products people are buying? And is that because I'm just not doing that I'm not really recommending the products that people maybe really are attracted to?
So we're obsessively optimizing these lists. All the lists are only items. So it's literally just like a shopping site. And for every item that GiftLab sells, there's 5 other items that we didn't link to that it sells. And so I think it speaks to like the card effect of Amazon. Like we're really like I would love them all to be things that we put on the list because I'm like,
Yeah.
we're so good. Like look at us. But I think the truth is like you get them close. And then they didn't want to buy Snoop Dogg's cookbook, but there was another cookbook that they think would be better for their mom.
And you got them to Amazon and you cookied them. And so whatever they end up buying, you got them over to Amazon through the way that you put the content on the page.
Yeah. And I think because the intent is so tight, you're usually not looking for gifts and then like, okay, let me do this in 3 weeks when it's time to do it. It's like, oh my God, thank God I have Amazon Prime because my mom's birthday is in 2 days and I literally need something tomorrow. And so people just like outside of Christmas, conversion rate is about 16%. And then in Christmas, it's over 20. And so people like click and buy.
You have talked many times about audience quality, about search intent, about optimizing around the audience and what they might or might not be looking for, around what they click on. How important or how related are the search intent behind the keywords you're writing about, and then the overall audience quality you get, and then what they end up doing and the money that you make from that?
I think it's the only thing that matters. And I think like level 1, when we were doing Listen Money Matters, I looked at Ahrefs' graph, and the higher my organic in Ahrefs was, it was literally like the higher I was flying. I felt better about the business. I was like, look how good I am. I know what I'm doing. And until we learned that like keywords are not created equal, I would rather hit a term at number 1 where 100% of the people were going to buy Lasso or whatever item on Amazon. Forget the really high volume ones. And then the really interesting thing is the low volume has less competition. So you can kind of spend, basically, let's not create it until we're absolutely sure it should be created and that we can win. So we spend more time debating than actually creating.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a lie, but we spend a lot of time debating it. And then it's cheaper. I don't have to pay people to create things that don't matter.
I was going to say, I mean, the intensity that you go about to understand your audience, and then the background you shared about your discoveries at Listen Money Matters, and then clearly how you've kind of applied that at GiftLab for just, for clarity. So yes.
So we were at one point a really big affiliate for Betterment, and they brought us to this meeting, and the team from Dash was there, and so they have that really big investing site. It's evading me now, but anyways, they ranked for how to write a check, and they kept talking about it there. Like the CEO of Betterment's there. There's all these like really big publishers. They keep talking about it, and it's massive volume. But the thing is, like, I don't know how you could possibly monetize that because you're not even going to sell checkbooks, because if they wanted how to write a check, they already have a check. And so it's like display ads, I guess, but they're just about dead, and so you can chase those now. I want to build something that like when I disappear, I leave Listen Money Matters they'll still make money because like our time was put in there, and I want that to like pay off forever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what are you talked about competition. You went from seemingly an incredibly competitive niche in personal finance to, I actually don't know if gift giving is much less much less competitive. I imagine it is. How important is competition in the sites you build, the keywords you target, the terms you go after, and the affiliate products you recommend?
I think it's really important. And so it is more competitive now. And within the last year, Good Housekeeping has started creating gift lists, and recipe.com has started creating gift lists. And so we have a bit of a head start. But in Gift Lab in under 5 years has generated over 7 figures in revenue. And so even if people edge in and beat you out, you could earn quite a bit of money before the big dogs like move in. And so that all those, and we're looking, we're trying to make our list better, but those 4.5 years that they were not looking, we were generating revenue that funded our other businesses and grew our other sites. And revenue solves all problems.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. That's a very good phrase. You could hang that. I bet people would buy that as a gift.
And not like, welcome to my household. Revenue solves all problems.
I mean, it sits above the family mantle. It's like, happy family. Revenue solves all problems. Give us a little look right now at what because I want to talk about Lasso because, I had a chance to poke around on that site, and akin to my Google Data Studio question earlier, like it seems like that has a lot of advantages for affiliate marketers. But before we get there, what does your website portfolio look like right now? And I maybe just want to ask a couple questions about how you manage several websites, several things in your portfolio.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say that we have 5 sites. I would say maybe we have 4 sites if you're judging by ones that even earn $1. And we're actively building the bottom 2. And it wasn't like we definitely put more time into List My Matters and Gift Lab, but it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy where we plant a lot of seeds, even just on like one site. And then when something starts to stick, like we double down on it. And so Gift Lab got more attention because it worked really, really well, really quickly. But we're trying to replicate that in other areas. And an inane example, and I have an example pulled up. Rustic farmhouse bedding is a difficulty of 3 in Ahrefs. And if you look at the things that rank, it's just e-commerce sites, which are a very new site. You can like literally just place above these sites. And the US volume is 700. And so these are people who want rustic farmhouse bedding. I don't even need to know what that is, because I guarantee if you give me 10 minutes, I could have a pretty good idea of what that is and how to service it. And then again, like if you have decent taste, I think you can perform well. And so it's fun. Like, can you bundle a bunch of these opportunities together so that you have a niche? Instead of like finding your niche, find the opportunity. And then like, Butter Dish, another one that's pretty decent. I wouldn't create a site that talks about butter dishes and rustic farmhouse bedding. You could, but it might not rank because it's unfocused. And so I don't even know if I answered your question. I feel like I'm just rambling.
Did. Well, you're going into kind of how you go about thinking through what to target and what to build sites on. I mean, carry that example out. You found a couple good keywords. What would the site look like, especially when you're competing against e-commerce, websites at that point?
So what we've learned, and this is, a hypothesis, but we've been able to play it out quite a bit, is the first hypothesis was like, if Amazon is in the top 10, we can create something reasonably bad and beat them. And we've been able to do that consistently. And, to pull it out further, it's like, if an e-commerce site is ranking, we can beat them. And, part of me feels like Google's like, hey, you got to buy ads, so we're not giving you a free ride. And so they'll let me beat them, and then they just pay out the nose to the affiliate channel. Or it's just not really servicing because they're programmatic and like badly programmatic. And so what we do is we create a listing of items. This list display that we call it is something that we've packaged into Lasso, but if you look at Lasso and Ahrefs, or if you look at GiftLab and Ahrefs, they're shockingly similar. They're LI items, list items. So it's structured data. Google loves that because they understand how it works. It's easy to process out for the team to build. And so we go there. And the thing is, if it's a difficulty of 3, and it could be a difficulty of 3, and a lot of people answered it, but if it's a difficulty of 3, or a low difficulty, and there's e-commerce sites in there, I think it's just an opportunity to create something. And then there needs to be 10 or maybe 11 other people that have to have the same idea. And in 2022, if they haven't found it, not many people are having these ideas. So 11 people have to also go in there for you to be pushed off the first page. And so, so the formula is really finding the opportunity, something that lends itself to ideas, but there's like buying intent. And then we do something like a list display. So it's structured. It can pick up rich snippets that they generally do, at least in the beginning. And we don't have to land the best item, or the best budget pick item. It's like, hey, we gave you 30 options. If you can't find it, then maybe you don't want to buy it.
Maybe you're not ready to convert at this point.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. So you're almost using e-commerce to create content ideas instead of using content keywords to create content ideas.
Yeah. Like, maybe Walmart should hire an affiliate marketer for their programmatic pages, someone who thinks beyond jam it in a category and they'll just whatever. It's just being a bit more thoughtful about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so does this look like classic, a certain affiliate, certainly affiliate marketers are kind of familiar with like a roundup review, like playing that out, like the best rustic, farmhouse bedding, and kind of go through rate and review, kind of select some different options for different types of folks that might be hitting your page there.
It's even leaner than that. Like each item gets like a paragraph or 2. I'll be honest. There are words on the page, but not a lot of words per item. We look at what Amazon writes. We rewrite it because we don't want to duplicate it. And generally, you could do better than what's in an Amazon description. Right. It's hard not to. I bet you Jarvis.ai could probably do better, a lot better.
Yep.
But that's it. So it's like I see people write and for Lasso, we're trying to like rank for like best financial affiliate programs, and they'll pick 10 and they'll write like 6 or 7 paragraphs. And they'll put this like big irrelevant image in there because they're like, Google wants content and words will rank more words. And then when you think about people, like, I don't want to read about you said Betterment was a good affiliate program. Okay, click, signed up. That's it. Like, I literally read none of your words. And if you ranked, I don't know, like, I don't care. I just don't care. And so it was the same onus for the other displays we built. Is when we first built Listen Money Matters, text links converted. You said Betterment, you made the link go to Betterment, and it was an affiliate link, and that was it. And you made money, and you're a winner. And after enough of that, or just too many links, people don't even see them, like the sidebar. So you need like a big button or a big box like this. This is the price. Click here if you want it. Budget pick. And so it's just like pulling them to what they want and then not give them more choices.
As we round out on some of these affiliate sites, like what kind of, you mentioned that GiftLab is one of maybe 4 or 5 you're working on, but what kind of, whatever numbers you're comfortable sharing, what kind of traffic, what kind of revenue is maybe that site generating, or maybe all 5 of your sites collectively, revenue, page views? People love to kind of hear and get context around some of these projects.
So I definitely agree. When I started my personal finance site, I was like, I loathed that thing because it's like, I feel like everyone was lying. And so I figured if I just didn't even let me tell you that I do well, just look at what I do. And if you think it's good, then maybe I do well. Hopefully I can put all the pieces together. GiftLab, because whatever, I confirmed with my wife that we could share numbers on that. We feel differently about this business. And so in under 5 years, we've reached a little over 17.5 million people on GiftLab, and it's earned a little over 1.2 million.
Fantastic.
And it's like 430 posts. So to give you more numbers, just to be like as salacious as possible,
I'm
it's
seeing
about
headlines now, on the YouTube banner, the podcast title.
I'm hoping for YouTube, this will be better than me going topicals. I think it is.
Well, you teased us with a button or two, so you're gonna have to just rely on numbers now to make up for it.
That's right. So in terms of posts, we have about like 430 that we've created. We pay $200 to create a post. And we optimize. That's super cheap. It's maybe $100 or less a few times in a post's existence. And so to break it out in terms of numbers, it costs us about 200, maybe 250 to create a post. And on average, a post earns us about $2,600 if you consider like the life of the site. So it's about 10xing the creation cost.
So you know your numbers like
I'm a numbers guy. I'm
a numbers guy too, but I mean, man, numbers like that.
I watched every single Shark Tank episode, and they're like, "Know your numbers." So
they do say, you take it to a new level.
Yeah, you look at Google Analytics, refresh. Did I get another visitor? Did I get another 10,000 visitors? It's like a game.
I'm fascinated by the success you've had. I mean, it's really well done. What gave you the impetus to then go on and start another project like Lasso, and fill us in on a little bit more about what Lasso is?
It's either like can't stop, won't stop, or I'm like a psychopath, a glutton for punishment.
All of the above, maybe. All of the above.
Yeah, because there's this like thing where it's like you have this idea, you want to do it, and like you see it, and so it's obviously easy because you know what to do. And I think if I knew how hard any of these things were going to be, I don't think I would have done any of them. I probably would have just kept my job. But we built, this tool for our own sites. It was a competitive advantage. It's like personal finance is super competitive. I don't want other people using my displays to promote their products or rank, or other gift sites to use the tech that we built, to find broken, out of stock links, whatever. And then realize that we're like in a little gold rush. And I had already given it to my friends. And if you wanted to compete with Gift Lab, you can have my tech stack, but you also have to be as good as me. You also have to have my team. You have to be able to do research. And so I started to feel like I'm a developer. And so I want to code more than record a podcast. Why I stopped my podcast, because I didn't bring me as much joy as building or coding. And so figured it was just, everyone talks about SaaS businesses and they're sexy. So we just kind of went for it.
At the end of the day, it comes down to how sexy it was. I got it. Okay.
Yes. It's salacious, sexy, affiliate businesses, right?
What does Lasso do? I mean, clearly it's about the way that you guys, clearly there's a pattern of success for you in terms of the way that you display the recommendations and the way that you optimize around those recommendations, both from a data standpoint, from a look standpoint, from a appeal standpoint, from a way you speak about it, from the type of links you do. It's pretty clear, 40 minutes into this interview, like you have a lot of baked in knowledge around optimization. So what does Lasso do for you to help optimize those pages?
Yeah. So when we were building Listen Money Matters, I think it was maybe at the 300 post point, it started to feel like we were getting all this organic traffic to posts that were not making us any money. Mm-hmm. Or I would catch after, weeks after something published, like a show notes that got like a blast hit of people, that there were no affiliate links in there. And it drove me insane that we were leaving these opportunities on the table. And so initially Lasso was just a bundling of automations to make sure that you don't have like this leaky ship. So if you put an Amazon link on your site, Lasso will automatically monetize it. It'll automatically bring down the price. It'll make sure you're compliant with Amazon's terms of service. If the image updates, things like that. Where are my links? So I link to Betterment. Where are they across the site? How are they performing on this post versus that post? And then, I started working with Matt Giovanisi on like his sites. And Matt's way more visual than me. I'm a numbers guy. I want to look at a spreadsheet of where my links are across my site. So I built that because that's what I want. Matt was like, it has to be beautiful. Yep. And so he made something beautiful on his site, and we packaged that into Lasso. And so that's the displays. And it wasn't like, it worked really well for Matt. It was just, obvious beyond that. You look at the numbers, people click on big buttons. They click on displays. Wirecutter does it not because they want us to think their site looks beautiful, because it performs really, really well. And so Lasso is the automations and then the front end aspects to kind of make sure that you're converting, basically.
You talked about being able to track which links perform best on which pages. I mean, that's a level of transparency that I think probably doesn't get talked about much. Most people probably slap Amazon affiliate links or even links to other affiliate programs, but they go kind of, across a whole multitude of pages, maybe hundreds of pages. And so it's hard to get in-depth information. How does that look with Lasso? Like, what kind of depth can you get, and what kind of depth of understanding can you get with that sort of feature?
Yeah. So what happened, and then there's like, we only created these things because we needed it, because I actually like to not work, even though I work incessantly at it.
I was going to say, hold on now. We'll reference 5 minutes ago, but okay, I'll leave that one there.
Yeah. You make $5,000 a month from Betterment or whatever. Cool. But you want to do more of what was working so that you could actually earn more, or maybe apply what worked to other posts. And so you need to know post level. And so with Lasso, you just put in your Google Analytics code. So Universal Analytics, Google Analytics 4, we work with all of them. And then you will get the level of event data that I was describing with Gift Lab. So you could see, based on every single affiliate link, how many clicks were there, where were they clicked, on which page. Within the next few months, we're going to have link level. So it'll be what page, which links on the page. You can start to see if like a link above a display box or at the bottom even matters. Because the thought is, you have 100 links on a post. If there was 100 possible clicks, it's going to be like kind of evenly distributed between the 100 links, roughly. But if you have 5 links, you're going to get more clicks per link. And so it's as important to add the right links as to remove the ones that don't work. If they're not, like, if you look at a post of mine and there's like an insane amount of links, you may click none because it feels spammy. And so it's really trying to, like, you created this thing that ranks, and now just like polish it or use tech to help you say, like, do this, this, this.
What recommendations do you have for people, even with that kind of data, but they might struggle with the numbers and understanding how to actually interpret them? Like when they're looking at that data, what are some maybe key insights you're looking for, and then things you do as a result of it? Maybe we could just spend 5 minutes on, hey, what does that data look like? And then what should people do with data like that?
Yeah. So when you pull it together in Google Data Studio, and a lot of this you could even just do in Google Analytics, you can learn, like, okay, so let's say I have Betterment review, and I get a bunch of clicks on Betterment review, and it's actually my highest clicked post to Betterment, and it's my highest converted. Cool. I guess I should just create 10 more Betterment review posts, right? Because that makes sense. But you can only have one.
Right.
And so, and maybe you need to discount the Betterment review because obviously the intent is high. And so if you exclude that and look at everything else, you could learn that beginner intent posts convert better. And so you put Betterment there, and maybe more advanced ones, you put, I don't know, M1 Finance or Robinhood. Another way to look at it, something that works specifically with personal capital for us, is in Google Analytics, you can see demographics data. And, I don't know that you may learn much versus male versus female, but age worked really well for personal capital. And we found that people, or rather posts that were geared to people who are 40 and up, converted better. So then we went to Google Analytics. We looked for every post that was for 40 and up, and we flipped out Betterment links, whatever, and we just promoted personal capital because it's just a product more geared towards the audience. It's like, you're going to use Mint at the time if you were young. I guess you're old if you use Mint, and it was old if you use personal capital. And so, it's understanding which posts are working. And so you can kind of back into intent or the types of people that it resonates with, because your article may be excellent and it may rank, but you may just be putting the wrong product on the article. And so it's not like this, just click this link and it'll tell you exactly what to do. You have to like meander a bit. You look at all the posts, where are the Betterment clicks coming from? They're all investing posts. So you could start there.
It makes a lot of sense. What is what kind of would be the typical, if let's say I have a website that's monetized as affiliate, and I were to kind of drop this tool on there, am I going to be getting like a big round of data back? Or is it something where you kind of start to slowly sift through page by page what the data looks like? And then if I get that data back, is it pretty easy to make these changes with Lasso, or is it more page by page, post by post?
Yeah. So when you start Lasso, we build an index of every link on your site. And so we pretty much know what's going on once you're getting started. As part of the kind of onboarding, you'll put in your Google Analytics data or not. But if you do, within 24 hours, you'll have events from every page that you've used Lasso links on. If you have Amazon and auto Amazon enabled, it'll just kind of deploy across your site and you'll be done. So for a site like Gift Lab, it's really like flipping one button and then just like wait, and you'll see the data. And then it really depends how you want to do it. I think that if you were more bespoke about things, it kind of lends to higher quality and it'll perform better. And so Lasso was built with that in mind. That said, you could do blanket kind of automations, but the gist of it is, say you have a relationship with Grammarly, they have an affiliate program. Lasso will show you all the links to Grammarly.com automatically. It'll be like, hey, these are not monetized. And we know, yeah. And they're like, and we say, hey, we also know there's an affiliate link. So if you're not signed up, click here and sign up. So you can go and sign up. And then after you sign up, we show you where all your links are, and you just flip a toggle and it'll make it a monetized link. And so
I might be sending people to Amazon for a product where there's already an affiliate program that would pay higher commissions, and so that gets recommended.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things we also learned that I didn't know until running Lasso is that people are talking to, and you may have talked about this before, but they're talking to vendors directly, and they're making direct deals with vendors. So they're getting the Amazon commission and then an additional payout. And so having the data and being able to kind of like automate that, like, makes it easier, because you can. So one of the things with Lasso is, say you link to a bunch of cowboy hats, and then you actually just want to link to a different cowboy hat. You can change it in one place, no cloaking, because it's Amazon, and we'll update it across your site. So if you make these direct deals, we make it really easy to kind of onboard and move content at scale to the direction that'll make you the most money.
Might I add, you have an insane ability to come up with really, really wonderful, odd examples on the fly. We've talked about dolphin lovers, cowboy hats, and everything in between.
Thank you.
It's a skill. It's a skill. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
I also ran a podcast, so I'm really
that's
good at
true.
jokes.
You should be hosting. You should be hosting this one just to get you back in the groove here. Doesn't look like it left you. It looks like you're good to go. You could just pick it right back up, dust the mic off, and you're off to the races.
I accept all invites.
How much money do you think people are leaving on the table by not focusing? Because again, I interview people every week. And I think the typical, when we just do an hour, right, and interview people about their success and their website success, a lot of the conversation tends to be around, focusing on growing the amount of content they have, focusing on backlinks, which we have made it through an entire podcast without talking about backlinks. That's kind of a miracle. But it's about content, it's about backlinks, it's about SEO, it's about optimization. And this has really been about optimization. This has really been about revenue conversion and increasing conversions. How much money do you think the average website, the average affiliate website is just leaving on the table?
So I'm going to rule out super beginners because they may be leaving out all. But generally the good fits for Lasso, they tend to get a few thousand, at least a month in organic traffic, and maybe they're making revenue from affiliate income, maybe 1,000 more. The ideal customer for us is like 1,000 or more, and they tend to be leaving about 30% on the table through broken links, out of stock links, and then just like unmonetized links where they have a relationship and they didn't link it across their site, or they're linking to someone, didn't even know there was a relationship. And so like connecting those dots.
That's great. That's a real good avatar and target market for who that would be best for. And that gives people an idea when it's too early to think about something like that versus when it's leaving a lot of money on the table. Yeah. If you're not focused on something like that. So
I think it's important to have best practices and like cloak links and stuff like that. And, I think we could provide value, but we're best when like you're earning so much more than the monthly fee. We don't have to like convince you that we're
Yeah.
valuable.
Yeah, I mean that's like the easy one, right? That's the easy way to kind of get people on board is if they just can capitalize on so much money left on the table. And to be fair, I mean, like I'm a numbers guy. I went to school for numbers, and I'm not nearly as focused on it as you are. It sounds like a lot of work without these tools that you have, like a Lasso or something like that. So it does sound like a lot of work to optimize these articles without. And if you don't want to sign up for all that work, or if you have a limited time frame, if you're still writing for your website, these are all different reasons to consider a tool rather than trying to go in and optimize yourself with some of the things you shared, like Google Data Studio and events and those sorts of things.
We're buying Google ads for the term affiliate link manager, which could be software. But when I started, that was a person. And for a lot of people, that is a person, someone who kind of like manages the relationships, make sure you're actually like monetizing. Not to say person or software, but I could certainly say software is cheaper. And then you don't have to have one-on-ones with Lasso.
Yep. Man, that's a good point. Guy, we went through a lot of things here. We talked, about Listen Money Matters. We talked about GiftLab and some of your other affiliate projects. We talked about Lasso. I mean, is there anything that you think we didn't touch on that you think we kind of left out or glossed over?
I think we covered the highlights. We're like obsessed with quality, and I love teaching, whether it was personal finance. And now I get to do it again with affiliate marketing, which is how we really made our money, not because we budgeted well, although we did. And so we're putting a lot of time into the content we create there, kind of showing, explaining all of this stuff. And our newsletter, I want to say it's like better than Indie Hackers, but it's certainly along those lines. We try and like highly curate and like teach you something. Like, I don't think you should necessarily care what I published yesterday. It may not be relevant to you, but we really try and like bring actual advice, because at the end of the day, if you are successful with affiliate marketing, you're going to stick with Lasso. So we need our customers to be successful.
It's great. Well, where can people follow along on what you're doing? And where's the best place to connect with you? Because you have a lot of projects, and you say you don't you want to save yourself a bunch of, you don't. What did you say? You don't like to work, I think is what you said. But I'd argue otherwise. But yeah, where can people follow along given the number of projects you have going right now?
When it's fun, it's not work. And when other people work for you and they can do the things you don't want to do, it's not work. You can find me at getlasso.co. We are obsessed with intercom. So hit the chat bubble, say, Andrew, I love you. Andrew, I hate you. I will read it. I will probably respond to that. I love you. And if you say I hate you, I'll just try and sell you.
Yep. Fair enough. Cut straight to the chase. Hey, this has been fun. It's been a real treat to have you on the podcast. You have a really storied background. I'm going to guess that the majority of people listening will have heard of at least one of your projects that we talked about, if not more. So, and it was really cool to hear about what you're doing now with Lasso. So thank you again. And until we talk next time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I had a blast.
Good. All right. Talk soon. Again, a big thanks to Ahrefs for sponsoring today's podcast. Ahrefs is an all-in-one SEO tool set. They help you get more traffic from Google by helping you understand what you need to fix on your website. Now, you could hire this out to a costly consultant, or you could go and hire an expensive audit agency, or you could use the power of Ahrefs Webmaster Tools. It's a free resource that's going to help you prioritize those optimization opportunities on your site. In the long run, that's going to lead to more traffic from Google, which is a good thing. The tool helps you see which keywords your pages are ranking for, helps you understand how Google is seeing your content, and helps you discover how making changes can blow up your traffic. Imagine what this could do for you in the long run. So again, thanks to Ahrefs for helping us with the podcast today. And you can learn more about this free tool by visiting ahrefs.com/webmaster-tools. Again, that's ahrefs.com/webmaster-tools. Have you been frustrated with your Google traffic lately? Are you tired of tools that make you search through millions of keywords and require a math degree to figure out? There's an SEO tool called Rank IQ that can help. They're ranked number 1 on G2 for both ease of use and customer satisfaction. Rank IQ gives you a list of the lowest competition, high traffic keywords in your niche, and they are all clear winners. When you choose one of their handpicked keywords, their AI takes over and gives you a simple report telling you what Google wants you to cover in your blog post. Whether you have a new site or have been around for a while, Rank IQ will take your Google traffic to a whole new level. Go to rankiq.com/niche pursuits to lock yourself in at 50% off their monthly rate. I'll put this special link in the episode's description.